So this is your USD, right? So we are on the monthly chart. So you can see that the monthly chart is printing lower lows, right? So you have lower lows and then lower highs, lower lows and then lower highs. So given that information, if you are looking for a setup, it should be for a sell, because the whole market dynamic is actually in a sell momentum. Okay, so you see that market has been selling here, then when it reached here we sold, right, making a new lower low around this area. Okay, so market is in a pullback phase. Okay, market is in a pullback phase, but what do we notice? We notice that price has reached a key demand zone, a key supply zone, sorry. So on that key supply zone, we expect price to at least drop some few pips, because this is the first time that price has come to that supply zone. Okay, so expect that price may drop a few pips before continuing its journey higher if it wants to move higher. Okay, so what I will do is that you would first of all have to go to the lower time frames, the week one, and see if there is a change of character or change of momentum. Okay, so the first thing that you see when you go to the weekly time frame is that price has already rejected in that area. If you're able to see clearly, price has already rejected in that area around there. Okay, price has made a rejection. That was the first week, and then in the second week we see that price is now already making a red candle. Okay, it's rejecting that area. So what would you do? Here's the catch. You see that price has been retracing in the previous weeks. Okay, price has been retracing in the previous weeks. It has been moving up and down. Okay, so if you want to first of all know what market is doing on the high time frame, I've told you on the monthly we're just retracing. Okay, market is just retracing, so it has the probability of continuing even lower. So we have some demand zones around this area. This is my first demand zone. Okay, then we have another second demand zone around this area here. Okay, so expect that price could come and then clear out most of these demand zones. Okay, because on the high time frame we know that market is selling. Okay, but let me first do this. So market may push towards this demand area, maybe close above, close beneath it, then it will push up, and then we may have some momentum for price to continue even lower. Okay, price may have the momentum to continue lower towards most of these demand areas. Of course, now there will be some pullbacks, so you may find that market may be making some pullbacks along the way. Okay, so here it may pull back a bit. Okay, and then here it may also pull back a bit. We don't know where exactly it will find the momentum to continue higher, but the overall trend, you have to know the overall trend, which is bearish. Okay, so the overall trend is bearish. So at this point we're just retracing. So given that information, I shall now go to the daily time frame looking for sales. Okay, I shall be looking for sales on the lower time frame. This is a daily time frame, and on the lower time frame, this is a daily time frame, right? You have seen that market has already made a doji. A doji candle is one of the key things that you should look for if you're looking for entries for sales. Okay, so let me first remove all the drawings now, knowing my market direction. Okay, so we see that we have a doji here. Okay, we have a doji. That is the whole doji. Price is still in the doji range, so we may have to wait a bit before it closes beneath this doji range. Okay, then we shall have a rally based drop setup. So we may first of all have to wait for price to maybe break this range, this doji range, and then after that break we can wait for price to pull back. Okay, but it should pull back towards this area of the doji. Okay, and then we shall have our setups for sales. For further confirmation, I usually like to use the awesome oscillator because it gives me the divergence setups. Okay, so let me first pull out the awesome oscillator. Yeah, it is. Okay, it's better. So on the house oscillator, we see that price is still printing higher highs. Okay, price is still, momentum is still following price. So on the house oscillator, we see that there is nothing really new on this. Price is making higher highs. Also, price on the chart is making what? Higher highs. Okay, so given that information, we can see that there is simply no divergence. So there's simply put reason for us to start selling right now. Instead, we have to be patient. Okay, you have to be patient. So given all that information, I still have to keep my charts clean. Okay, so I'll drop down even further to the H4 and see what setups I have. So on the H4, I'm just looking for supply zones which are being respected and then taking my entries from there. So the first zone that I'm seeing here, this is a strong supply level. Okay, we had a drop based drop at around that level. So price has already retested the level. This was the first time that price retested the level. If you guys can see this week, so this is when price first retested the level and then it dropped. So price made a good rejection on this level and then made a very good drop. Okay, so it came back for a retest. Okay, this was the second retest, but now it's starting to drop. Now for price to drop even further, we need to break. Okay, we need to go all the way down here. Okay, so you can even easily just take your entries for sales, but I'm not advising you guys to always be okay, I'm not advising you guys to always be on the lookout just for sales just like that. You need to first of all know the high time frame picture. Okay, so you see that price has made a lower low and then a higher a lower low already. Okay, so for us to take good sales, we need to first of all break this demand zone on the H4. This is another demand zone which is nearby. So for us to continue lower, price has to first of all break this demand zone, because if price doesn't break this demand zone on the H4, all our sell entries shall be invalid. Why? Because I have told you before that the general trend is just an retracement. Okay, so you should be careful of that. So if price is able to break that first zone, then we have a high probability of price continuing, and then so if price is able to break that first zone, okay, we have a high probability it may drop even further. So if price is able to break here, let's say, then we can have experience some bit of a pullback. Sorry, I need an arrow, not a line, trend line. Okay, so here it is. So we expect some pullback. Okay, then we shall take ourselves from that area. This is now added confirmation. Take ourselves from that area towards here, towards the next demand zone. Okay, so this is a demand zone on the H4. So price is now, if it disrespects that that demand zone over there, I expect it to drop even further. And yeah, on the H4, I see that price is already okay. It's not yet giving us divergence. But yeah, that's my setup for now. So if I go to the H1, this is a lower time frame. I want to see price. You already see that we have another key supply area around here. Okay, we have some key supply area around here. So as long as price doesn't close above that supply area, then I'm good to go with my sales. I'm looking for price to break, going downwards. Okay, so what should I do? Well, let me first close out some positions on BTC USD. Have you guys understood everything about this EurUsd pair? So if I go to the M30, we see that price is already breaking towards the downside. Okay, price is already dropping. It's already dropping some good pips. So what do we do? Well, we see that price, we have a bit of a demand supply zone around here, okay? Had a drop base drop at around this level, right? So as long as price doesn't break that level, we are good to go. Also have another demand zone around here, so I want to see price break free from this demand zone on the M30, and then I can just take my entries from there, because I'm expecting if price is able, just first remove this some oscillator. Okay, I'm expecting that if price is able to break that demand zone on the M30 and then it makes a pullback, there's some setups that I've been trading. So if price is able to break this M30 demand zone, okay, just want to see a bit of a pullback. I don't know up to what level, but I want to see a pullback, okay, and then we shall take ourselves from there. Shall take ourselves from there. So that's how the whole market is looking right now on EurUsd. I have no further confluence, but I'll have to wait. Okay, I'll have to wait. So the M15, let me see. So the M15, where price is actually just playing around. We have a supply zone around here, supply zone around there, okay. Price may pull back to that level, and then we shall take us what. Remember, it tries to first of all pull back, break this structure here, and then we shall take our entries. Maybe another pullback, and then we shall take our entries for sales, okay. Okay, alright. So if you guys want more videos like this, I can simply hook you up, guys. Simply just hook you up. But that's how we're looking currently on EurUsd. So if price is able to break that demand zone, then we shall just be able to take our entries. So yeah, that's it for EurUsd currently. I'll just wait and see the setup. Okay, just wait and see the setup. So on BTC, let me just make a quick analysis on BTC and where I took my entries from that area. Okay, so BTC, you have to, first of all, if you have to view it, you have to do it from the daily time frame, because that's where you can get the overall trend. You see, if you see clearly, you see that BTC, the overall trend is what? Is bullish. Okay, for the past few days we have been bullish. If you can see this, price has been pushing higher, okay, on BTC. So just looking for areas where I could buy from, and the first thing that I noticed is that price had made a rally setup from around here. Okay, it had made a rally, then it had made some bit of a base before it broke the base, and then it came back for retracement. Okay, so we have a supply, a demand zone, demand zone around this area. So price, after it made the rally, it made a base. This was the base, okay, and then it made another rally up, okay. But then after that rally up, it made some bit of a resistance where it formed where there was a supply zone here. So price had to first of all come back to the fresh demand zone, okay. And then afterwards, after price had formed near this fresh demand zone, I just took my entries here on this first candle that moved away, okay. So after price, I was expecting that price could continue higher, which it did right now. And yeah, if price is unable to break above this high here, then I can just simply call it my first TP, because that is a key supply zone. So if price is to continue high, it has to first of all break that supply zone, okay. It has to first of all break that supply zone. But yeah, that's what we are currently looking at in BTC. So we are up by $700, and yeah, that's it for BTC. But now as I've told you guys, for EurUsd, I'm just looking out for this area to be broken on the daily time. Sorry, on the M15. There is a supply zone there. Okay, there's a supply zone there. But for confirmation, let me first show you guys what I'm seeing. If you guys can see clearly, this is another support and resistance. Okay, you see that price was pushing down, then pushed up. So this is a good area probably to take my entries for sales. Okay, so I shall add just one position of like 0.1. Okay, and I shall be selling. No, I said 0.1, not 0.0. Fuck. Let me just add 0.0, 0.1 exactly. Okay, sell. So I shall just be selling these two positions on EurUsd. Stop loss is just above that, the supply area here. Okay, that's where I put my stop loss, and then take profit. For now. I could be aiming for even this. Let me just go to the H1 so that I can show it clearly. So I'm just aiming for this supply zone around here. That is 1.17660. 17660. Okay. So we shall modify. Take profit, it shall be 1.17660. Okay. So take profit is that is my first TP, just around there, just around the corner there. That's my first TP. And then for this one, the same thing. So it shall be 1.17660. Okay. The reason why I love executing on this time frame, sorry, on the MT4 is that it's actually just fun executing orders from the MT4. It's stress free. Okay, stress free. But yeah, on the M15, which I'm trading with, I'm just expecting if price is able to break that supply zone, we shall just be out of the market. So my stop loss will be 1.1, this area here is where my stop loss will be. That will be 1.17756. okay. So stop loss. So that's my stop loss for the 0.1 position. That's my stop loss. And yeah, I guess I'll just be holding these trades for some few times. Although my take profit seems to be a bit small. Let's go for the H4 to that we can clear out most of the noise. Okay, so on the H4 you see that we have some demand zone there, which was retested like some good times. So if price is able to break that demand zone, then we shall be good to go. But if price rejects and then goes up, then I don't think we shall have any valid setup for now. So yeah, that's how I'm looking on this pair. Second tip pick will probably be around this demand zone, which is 1.17330. Let's just wait for it. Let's just wait. Okay, let's just wait. Yeah, so BTC is currently at that supply zone. So if price is able to move up, it has to first of all break that supply zone. So let me first take some positions off. Just one position. Okay, just one position. Maybe this one for what? And then let's first modify our positions. Let's go to the H1 that we can. Maybe the M30 is better. Okay, so in the M30 we have a rally base rally setup here at around this area. So if price breaks this demand zone, I won't be in the markets. So our stop loss will be 109.268. Okay, that's where I put my stop loss for BTC. So that's if price decides to come back down, that's where I would probably hold up to. Okay, that's where I would probably hold up to. So guys, that's it for now. That's it for now. On what your USD already in some profits, but let's wait and see how it plays out in the end. Yeah, shall be updating you guys on this account very soon. Shall be updating you guys. So thanks.